Hello, CryptoGoth here with Dre King, aka Sovereign Hustle, with a special announcement, update for KingRoyal Industries about the Crown Network that officially went public on Monday, September 19th. So, Dre, tell me, what is the Crown Network?
Alright, so the Crown Network is a distributed network protocol that we have created here at KingRoyal Industries that is of on-chain data on blockchain.
Okay, how does the Crown Network work?
Alright, so in the way the blockchain is meant to function is that rather than having data held by a central individual or group of individuals, server, whatever it may be, it's distributed out across nodes that are held globally by anybody. Then obviously centralized is the exact opposite, where all data is held by a central server, central and everything. Where we're really targeting is the commodity token space, since in commodity tokens there is unfortunately a great deal of malfeasance as well as a lack of transparency. We were kind of talking about this earlier with some of the stablecoin issues facing stablecoins. And so what the Crown Network is it is a protocol that can be attached to an ERC20 token to change the minting process to a proof of reserve minting process, which is where rather than having it so there's a contract that an admin can log into, click on the number of tokens they want to create, hit a button, and those tokens appear instantly on their network.
Editing.
Exactly. New tokens can only be generated and or burned when they are when immutable data collected from whatever the physical resource is that is backing the commodity token is actually collected and then is collected again to verify it, thusly making so that you can literally audit the reserve of physical resources in real time and prove that the issuing firm, whoever that may be that's issuing this resource, always guaranteed had the physical commodity in their hands in order to make that token.
Now, what kind of information are you actually gathering from?
Yeah, so it depends on the resource. Our first use case token actually that's launching on the network is the Crown token, which is a fully trustless stablecoin. And for that, we're taking the immutable data of the physical US dollar bills themselves. This would be printing batches, serial number, denomination, date of printing, all of the different stuff on that bill that makes it a unique bill, but it could just as easily be done with something like a barrel of oil, where, for instance, you have, it'll measure the crude weight, it would measure the data was extracted, the location, all of that information that makes it, again, an intrinsically unique piece.
Okay. And what problems does it solve?
So the biggest problem that it solves the inherent issue that we see right now in commodity tokens in general, where, again, as I was saying, there's a huge lack of transparency, and there is the tendency in a lot of commodity tokens to falsify their data in order to print additional tokens, and or the encouragement to use a algorithmically based method of producing stability due to the fact that they either heavily leverage against their resources and or they simply don't have them in the first place.
Why is that needed?
It's needed because as things move forward, commodities are becoming a bigger and bigger demand in blockchain. We see that there is a increasing desire to be able to have, sorry about that.
Volume.
To be able to have, physical assets represented by a blockchain token. And we're really, right now, the only way that that's being done is through these central control systems that are essentially no different than what we've been seeing in blockchain since, the middle of the 1800s. There is none of the same level of the trusted economic model that we see in pretty much every other aspect of crypto.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what is the first use case of the Crown Network?
So I kind of brought this up a little bit here a minute ago. The first use case is the Crown token. And the Crown token is the first truly trustless stablecoin. And the way that we guarantee it is a stablecoin. Initially, it's going to be backed by the U.S. dollar. Eventually, we're going to come out with a euro version, a yen version, et cetera, et cetera. And the way that remains trustless is that the only way, again, using our protocol, the only way that a new token can be created is when the actual immutable metadata is harvested from the dollar bills as they enter our reserves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that data is directly used in order to mint those tokens, thusly proving in real time that we have every dollar that we say that we have to back the token, and eliminating the need for algorithmic stability by simply guaranteeing a one-to-one solvency, so that if you want to be able to take your tokens and exchange them for the underlying fiat value, that transaction can occur near instantaneously. There's no delay to it. There's no additional fees to it, because we have every dollar we say we have, and that also hedges against exchange volatility. As it doesn't matter if those tokens are going to be selling on an exchange for $10 or 10 cents. We will always give $1 for every token that we have in our reserve, which will help to remove the volatility in a different way.
Okay, that sounds pretty fair to me.
A little bit of a long answer there, I know, but
okay, so you were just saying something about you'll have the USD versus the euro but will those ever be interchangeable?
Yes, actually, we do plan to make it so that there's going to be a zero barrier exchange between the tokens on our network, so that any token that is registered to the Crown protocol will be able to interchange at a direct ratio market rate between each other. That way, by holding any of the Crown denominated fiat currencies, you will effectively have access to every other Crown denominated fiat currency with zero latency, zero additional exchange fees across the board.
Sounds nice.
Well,
how does the Crown network make money? And how does one become part of the network?
So the Crown network is a little bit of an interesting concept. So trying to stick to the decentralized / distributed model that is kind of the whole birth and founding of blockchain. It's really important to us that we don't have the noose hold governance structure that we've seen is so common in other stablecoins such as U.S. Tether, Crown, not Crown, that's us. A little bit of tongue there, sorry guys. That's so common in True USD, USD Tether, USDC, any of those different systems. And the way that we're eliminating that is the fact that where KingRoyal Industries is the creators of the Crown network, we do not own the Crown network. The Crown network is an autonomous protocol that functions independently and outside of the control of anything to do with KingRoyal Industries. The way that we make our money and the way that our investors will make their money is through the very first token that was released onto the Crown network and is the first native token that uses the Crown protocol is the Sword security token. It is obviously it's a security, and it's a revenue share style dividend issuing token that equals a even revenue share of all revenue generated across the entirety of the Crown network, every other token on the Crown network, to its holders on a quarterly basis. And a big point to point out there is I'm not talking about profits. It's not divvying up profits of the network. It's divvying up revenue of the network, which is a very simple but also very powerful model, and not one that's seen very often. The way that we make our money is we hold 46% of all of the tokens made on the Crown, or of all of the Sword tokens made on the Crown network. There's only 100 million Sword tokens, and it is a closed minting contract, which means that there can never be another one created. This is a finite amount, and once they've all been sold, they're gone.
Well, how is it used?
The Sword token?
Yes.
So the Sword token is it's a passive income model token. So by acquiring the token and holding it in a verified ERC20 wallet, on a quarterly basis, at the last day of every quarter, a smart contract runs that pulls, because right now the way it's designed is that all revenue generated, essentially all the transaction fees generated across the Crown network. This is by the Crown stablecoin, as well as every other token that both we create, as well as anyone else who chooses to utilize our protocol creates, will be pulled into a central wallet that is going to be listed on our site at launch of mainnet. And at the end of every quarter, all revenues generated will be evenly divvied up amongst the holders of the SWORD token and sent autonomously to those different wallets. So that means that if you're holding one SWORD token, then you will be entitled to receive an exact 1/100 millionth of the total revenue generated by the entire network.
Okay, so any recent news? Anything new?
Let's see here. Recent news.
Didn't you go down?
Yeah, actually.
San Fran
recently?
recently?
That was a very interesting meeting that we had. We recently went down, and as part, we only went live with this project on Monday. We've been working on building the SWORD protocol for almost 3 years now. It's been a hell of a process to get it going, and so it's super gratifying to actually, now have this project going live, and it's, just a whirlwind of activity. But one of the biggest things is we actually just recently went down to San Francisco and met with Signature Bank, which is kind of one of the first banks in the United States that's really crypto forward and is really trying to become a mover in the space and an early adopter. And we were talking to them about establishing a bank account in order to be able to start taking bank transfers from potential investors that would like to acquire the SWORD token during our STO that we just launched. I guess we should talk about that here in a minute. So that investors can actually invest in our token via bank transfer and be able to acquire the SWORD token to hedge against the upcoming quarter's dividends that will be issued initially from everything from the Crown token, and hopefully a few others here down the line as well.
Nice. So let's talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
You know where to go.
Yeah. So the SWORD token STO is the initial way that we're raising funds for the network. The actual Crown protocol itself has already been finished. We do have a working software prototype that is currently still closed to the public, just as we're not quite ready for launch yet. But we're raising money through sale of the SWORD token because part of operating a commodity isn't just software like many other cryptos. We do have a hardware component, and that's the actual physical vaults that are going to hold the various assets that we're custodializing. And so we are raising money right now in order to finish out those vaults, as well as to expand the network, enable additional functionality, bring on better, bigger and better partners, et cetera, et cetera. And right now we are selling those tokens through our site. Unfortunately, there are all the accredited investor. I shouldn't say unfortunately, but it is unfortunate. It is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But so we're looking to be able to sell the SWORD token. We are currently selling it through our site so that investors can go on, see all of our material, go into our web wallet, and actually be able to purchase tokens. Right now, tokens can be purchased for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, as well as via PayPal for those that would like to invest via PayPal.
Nice.
Hopefully, we'll be able to enable bank transfers here in the next couple of weeks with the aid of Signature Bank. And so that's pretty much what we got going on there. The STO is being put on in 2 stages. First stage STO, we're selling 5 million tokens at a rate of $3.83 a piece. For I think it's a little bit over $19 million that we're looking to raise. And then the second section of the STO, which is going to be going live as soon as the first stage is over, is going to be quite aggressive. We're looking to raise an additional $81 million out of that by selling tokens at a rate of $4.05 a piece. And where that seems like a lot of money, that's going to really be our push to expand out for global. We're going to be looking to build vaults in other countries. We're going to be looking to approach various, federal level governments around the world and try to expand out the network to be able to bring this functionality to the globe and not just the local area.
Right. That is a problem with a lot of the currencies that you see, is that it's so limited
Right.
Compared to like, okay, it's only going to be in Europe, or it's only going to be, basically at its home base.
Exactly.
They don't have the reach.
Right, exactly. And that's definitely one of the hardest things about establishing. Obviously, any of the major blockchain projects have definitely had trouble establishing themselves, period. But an even bigger issue for anything dealing with physical commodities is you have to breach that gap between both doing all the development in the actual cyberspace and actually having to do physical development, real estate acquisition, building facilities, hiring staff. I mean, it's into a much of internet money. I mean, you think of something that doesn't have a physical component, but then when you start talking about actually a majority of tokens these days that are representing physical assets, that's no longer the case.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm going to make it into a physical component. I'm going to get some metal slugs and print out some pictures of the different coins and frame them on the wall just so I can say I have some in my house.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I've got a whole Bitcoin here.
It won't be worth anything. It'll be worth the metal that it's stamped off.
I've actually really considered before actually taking like a little hard drive and putting like a Bitcoin wallet on it, and then taking and casting that into a coin, so that you could actually have a Bitcoin inside of a physical Bitcoin. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be really cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've wanted to do that for a long time. I think that'd be really cool. And then you can literally like go up to somebody and when people are like, well, it's not real money. I can't touch it.
Right.
Here you go.
Here, touch this.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Okay,
but then, I guess at that point though, you would have to start asking, do you got change for a $10,000 bill?
Oh, yeah. No kidding. So where exactly on the site can people go to?
Actually I think that we have a button on almost every page of the site now, at least
Pretty
the home page
right?
and the sword page. But by going to the site, which is www.KingRoyalIndustries.com, which we will put in the links down below. You can go onto the site. We have all the information about the Crown Network.
You got your white
building.
papers. You got.
As well as white papers about the initial two tokens that are going to be listed on the site, which is obviously Sword token and the Crown token, so that you can get all your information. And then from the Sword page, you have the Invest Now button, which takes you over to our custom web wallet. And from there, it's a very simple process. It walks you through KYC and AML checks we have to do, accredited investor checks to ensure that in countries that do have those requirements that we meet them. And then from there, it enables the ability to autonomously buy tokens. As I said right now, either via cryptocurrency, via Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash, or via PayPal, and have them deposited directly to a Ethereum wallet of your choice.
Nice. Okay, well, is there any other news that you'd like to add in there?
I think that's about it. We're super excited about this whole project and just kind of wanted to share out a little bit of an update on what we've been doing, a little bit more information about it.
Yeah, I haven't been here very long, but I'm definitely excited.
Oh yeah, it's really exciting because what we're doing is that the whole idea behind blockchain in the first place was, okay, well let's remove the middlemen. Let's make it so that it's trust. Let's make it so that you don't have to worry about being screwed over by everyone possible.
Yeah.
You don't have to take the word of anybody, et cetera, et cetera.
All information is put into the system, and it is what it is.
Right. Rather than being
open
regulated
to the public.
Right. Rather than being regulated by an individual, it's regulated by an autonomous computer system that doesn't have an agenda. You can't bribe it. You can't alter anything that's going on.
I can try to bribe it.
Yeah, but it's gonna work for you. But again, like we've seen that purity of it has really faded as blockchain has tried to expand out and get into a larger environment. And on one side, it's very exciting because I do believe that blockchain can really help the commodity token market. I think it can really help pretty much every sector of what we do.
Right.
But right now it's kind of broken because we do have, we have some of the highest levels of trustless, data transparency and security requirements in the world. But as soon as we start talking about anything to do with the physical world, everybody just kind of does a bunch of hand waving, says, don't worry about it, we're going to use the same control structure we've been using for 200 years. and slap
it
the
hasn't
blockchain
worked.
logo on it so they can just sell it for more money,
Yeah.
even though it's nothing different than they've been doing for the past 200 years.
Right.
And so that's why I'm really excited about what we're building, because, I mean, yes, we are going to make a lot of money on this. I mean, we're a business. But, I mean, the real exciting thing about what we're doing is that even though we are going to be making a lot of money on it, it's the whole idea of Bitcoin.
Right.
Greed to keep people honest.
Right.
And
Right.
by creating this, rather than doing proof of work or proof of stake or, just a direct mintable system like US Tether, by making the proof of reserve system in order to re-enable that trustless integrity that's core to blockchain, we are able to use the very fact of the money's existence in order to prove the validity of every token on the network, and that's going to it's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help reduce the ridiculous hyperinflation that we're seeing right now with all of the other stable coins, especially. And it's going to put, if it's really able to be promoted the way that we're trying to right now, what we're building is going to put a lot of financial institutions on the back foot and make it so that they are forced to evolve into a system that, again, is more centric to being a customer-centric system rather than the current aspect of it, where it's very much of let's milk them for every penny that we can and
you see that.
Screw the little guy.
Right,
and
you see that everywhere.
It is what you see everywhere, and this system, it fixes it not by putting some new law into effect that theoretically everybody's going to follow for the first year until they find a loophole in it, and then they're just going to screw everybody anyway, but by making it so that every single thing that is done on the network, the company, the custodial agent is 100% accountable for, because literally any person in the world, on or off the network, has full access to that information, and the information can never be changed, which means that if the custodial agent, in this case us, ever screws up,
it'll be seen. It'll
be seen by everybody. We can't hide anything, which I believe is incredibly important with this moving forward.
Right. And you know what they say, proof is in the pudding.
Exactly.
It's there's your pudding right there.
Exactly. I mean, we're okay putting ourselves under the microscope because we know that what we're building is going to really help.
Right.
And I do believe that it will eventually be adopted on a more global basis. There's going to be other systems that have to migrate to what we're doing, because why wouldn't you want to be on a system where not only can you take advantages of the cheaper, faster, and more secure aspects of blockchain, but also be able to to do so without having to worry about the intermediary who's handling your money back.
Right. Overcharging you to send your money back and forth.
And take their cut on the side.
Right. That's the most important part. I don't think a lot of people realize the cut that they take out, or they charge you to handle your money.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see it in things like we were talking about earlier, Western Unions and the banks, to transfer over monies from one account to the other, they put on a ridiculous percentage.
Right. It's like, we're seeing a lot in international markets, 7 to 10%. It's insane.
Right.
And I mean, that's the other thing also, like, the reason why we chose to raise funding through the SWORD token originally and not go to traditional VCs and do an equity sale and all that is because, I mean, we actually did originally look into doing that. And right off the bat, we saw it's like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible, because they were like, okay, well, we really like this project, we think it's amazing, we'd love to have a part of it, but we want you to start charging a subscription fee, we want you to start charging a monthly fee for these different services, we want you to raise the rates to at least 5%, yada yada, and it's like, no.
Right, and percentages always end up going up.
Exactly.
And up and up.
Exactly,
and
it's
never ending.
Our hardline stance is simply, no, we're not going to do it. And that's the reason why we also rebuilt it, so that the Crown Network is not some proprietary software of KingRoyal Industries. The Crown Network is a protocol that can be used by anybody that wants to build an ERC20 token. And that way, again, we're reinsuring that there's always going to be that sovereignty that will protect the network itself from both us and anyone else that would ever try to actually, maliciously influence it.
Right.
So that's pretty much what we're building, guys.
Sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, I mean.
What about you guys? What do you think?
Right, let us know if you have any questions, either here down in the chat and or shoot us over a DM either to me, Sovereign Hustle,
or Crypto Goth.
And we look forward to being able to actually continue to develop this software and be able to offer it to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Please, if you wouldn't mind, go and take a look at our website. Let us know what
there
you
will
think.
be changes
There
here and there.
are some up and coming changes to the website, but most of the information on there is all going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Go over, take a look at it. Let us know what you think. If you have any questions about the networks, we are so excited to be able to educate and offer this, opportunity to be
We're
able
here to serve you.
Yeah, we are. We're here to serve you, and we hope to see you next time.
As governments should.
As they should,
As
but
they should,
don't.
But they don't.
That's the whole point. What we're doing is we're trying to remove that middleman, or at least make it so that he's accountable for his actions.
There you go. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that
hard.
It
doesn't happen very often.
It really doesn't happen
it makes
very
me
often.
giddy to think that it could.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for tuning into this little update, and definitely look for more as we continue to try to tell the world about what we're offering. Thanks.
Share it. Like it. Love it.